So I just want to stress that we could make as big or even bigger of a mess than we did the last time with the transmission fluid. So it's a win-win. It's either funny or it works. So either way, we're good.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. Starting off on a very rainy morning here in SoCal. And of course our workstation is outside. But if you saw the last video, we got the engine back in the RX7. What we need to do now is a lot of miscellaneous things to get this thing ready to get hooked up to the ECU and ready to have its first startup, hopefully. So we need to get a lot of miscellaneous stuff done. Blocking off the vacuum lines we're not going to use anymore, installing the fuel system, putting the intake and intercooler on the car, as well as rehooking up the chassis electrical harness and hopefully testing that. So we're going to try and bang out as much of that as we can today because it's supposed to stop raining here in about an hour. First off, to start, I'm going to be in the garage where it's a little bit warmer and drier, working on something that needs to go on here. So I'm going to start today by working on this. This is the FC's throttle body and it needs desperately to be cleaned up. I'm going to clean the spring assemblies too and then re-grease those so it's nice and ready to get started up. This elbow piece will be replaced with the intercooler kit, so I'm just going to focus on the throttle body here. So I'm going to hit that up with the wire wheel and some degreaser. And hopefully we can get it painted up today so it can go back on the engine. So I'm going to do that off camera. So here's how it looks now. And here's what it looks like now. All right, now that that's done, we're ready to get working outside, and boy, the weather sure cleared up. So we're going to start off with bleeding the clutch because we just installed the transmission, engine, and clutch. So we want to make sure that everything's releasing properly, but we just installed a new slave cylinder. So in order to do that, we're going to make a little bleeding kit with a water bottle here. So our first step is to just put some .3 fluid in the bottom of this container. I've drilled a hole in the bottle cap, so that will go in there. And we just want to make sure that this little piece of vacuum tubing stays submerged underneath there. And our next step is to loosen the bleeding valve on the slave cylinder right here. Okay. Once that's loosened, then you're going to take and slip this vacuum line firmly over this orifice. There we go. Okay. Now we're going to fill the master cylinder with the fluid. Okay. And Jeff's going to keep an eye on this for bubbles, and once all the bubbles have come out, we're good to go. We're going to do that by pumping the clutch inside the car, and then if this goes down, Jeff, just top it off with fluid.
Got him.
See bubbles or anything?
Oh yeah, a lot of bubbles shot out.
Okay.
A lot more bubbles.
There's a fluid reservoir.
It's still, I can still see it. It went down just a little bit. Still bubbles. Oh yeah. Ooh, there's some nice tasty stuff coming out now. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it turned from like clear to really milky. So we finished bleeding the clutch. Everything checks out, everything gets into gear. The pedal now goes down and comes back up, and we believe everything is good inside. So now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get the speed sensor back in the transmission, and then we're going to drop the rear end and get the drivetrain back into the back of the transmission, so then we can fill it up with transmission fluid, which, you know, you kind of neat after a little accident and spilt it all over the ground.
Should have got an aluminum drive shaft.
The Z has one.
Can we switch them?
No! We don't need the Z any heavier than it already is.
Of course, the hardest one to get. Got it. Okay, there's the locking washers. Okay, don't lose those.
One flew up there.
Here?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Look at that drive shaft.
And then,
America.
you getting this?
Oh, that's filming.
Okay. Now why won't it go in?
So while I was moving over to the other side of the car,
It slid in.
Billy got it.
Got in there, yeah. When I'm under here in weird angles, like my arms get tired so quick. My neck gets tired from holding up my head.
It's like, what have I been doing at the gym?
Well, it's like you realize obviously why people use lifts so much. I'm also going to need a open-ended wrench to hold these because these are
A 14, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Thomas just finished getting the drivetrain back into place. However, we do need to jack up the rear end of the car and be able to torque down all 4 bolts that connect the drive shaft to the differential. But when we do the fuel system, we'll take care of that. We just put it on our list to do. And so now that, and he also put the speed sensor back in the transmission, so it's all tightened back up. So now we can fill the transmission with the missing gear oil, and that'll be good to go. We're making progress left and right today. It's just happening. And also because since we don't have one of those little pumps that feed the gear oil in the transmission, we're just gonna pour it in from the shifter.
Or we could do this on the internet, so it has to be right.
Yeah, because the internet is never wrong.
Stinks.
Yeah, now the inside of the car smells. Oh, wow. Good thing I opened this door. They'd be dead already. So braking development, we've had a little change of heart while filling up the transmission. Thomas made something, so let's turn to him. Thomas, what do you have for us?
Well, I can't fill the transmission from the shifter opening. So in order to make a pump to reach the fill hole on the bottom of the transmission, here I have the gear oil container tightly fitted with a vacuum hose, and then I have this air pressure gun turned way down, so hopefully this doesn't explode, and I'm going to press it in here, go under there, and hopefully that'll force all the liquid out. So wish me luck.
So I just want to stress that we could make as big or even bigger of a mess than we did the last time with the transmission fluid. So it's a win-win. It's either funny or it works. So either way, we're good.
Tube is in the transmission. Oh God. Okay. Here we go.
Oh, out comes the tube.
Okay. Just gonna hold that in place. It's definitely pushing pressure in the right direction.
It's bulging.
I know, I see it. Okay, so we're back with the second design of the device here. We have a bigger diameter tube. I have it taped in place so that it doesn't try and escape on its own. And I've put a little extra seal for the pressure to be injected via some electrical tape. And we're going to see what happens now. There she goes.
That top looks insane.
Got a quarter left in there. This is genius. How about that?
Righto. I have another bottle right behind me.
Very good.
In goes bottle number 2.
No whammies. No whammies.
No whamming.
Remove the top seal. About halfway there. This is working astonishingly well. Was working astonishingly well.
Until you blew your gasket.
I wonder if I could just put like a hose clamp around here or something. Let's try to just finish this bottle. Damn it. Beep. It's not going.
There it goes.
Oh god. Hold tight.
Come on, blow up! Blow up!
There's too much air leaking.
Is it going down?
Yep. Nice and quickly, actually. Oh my god, this is hard to hold. She's gonna blow, Captain. Close.
Oh, we're
full,
good. We're
full,
there. We're there.
full. We're full. It's foaming. It's foaming from the air bubbles. Oh god! Oh god!
It looks like snot.
We did it! I did it!
We just aerated the crap out of all that fluid, though.
Sometimes my genius is truly terrifying. Okay, so successfully installed the starter, got the chassis ground hooked up. Now what we're going to do is Jeff's going to work on blocking off some of the vacuum line ports on the intake manifold while I put together the front headlights and reconnect the rest of the wiring harness. So throw you up on the time lapse, and then we're going to see how far we can get with installing the throttle body and the intercooler kit, as well as testing the electrical system. Alright, so we run into some stopping points, I guess you could say, with some of the install. Jeff's trying to jump ahead, but now we're trying to figure out where this massive intercooler from our kit is supposed to go. So I put the front bumper support on, put the oil cooler on, and the radiator goes behind that. So let's see if we can figure this out. What do you think?
Not sure yet.
Alright guys, so we got pretty stumped by this intercooler system. It's kind of a one-size-fits-all big kit off eBay, and we're having trouble figuring out where the pipes go. Luckily, with Jeff's welding school, we should be able to cut these the way we need and then just weld them into a custom configuration. But that's going to take some time. So just a big progress update today. Just remember, we got the drivetrain in, we've got the vacuum lines plugged off, we've got the intake throttle body on there, we got the starter in there, we've got the transmission fluid filled. We're starting to put the bits and pieces together after painting the engine bay, and we're getting the intercooler situated and sorted out, so hopefully that can be coming on soon. So just a nice progress update for today. We are very proud of the progress we made. Remember guys, a lot's coming in the future. Remember, like, comment, subscribe. We appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you in the next one.